The Great Northern War, 1700 to 1721. The Great Northern War filled more of Peter's later reign. Initially, together with the War of Spanish Succession in 1701 to 1714, it made the warfare pan-European. The beginning was disastrous. Charles V proved to be outstanding soldier of his age and commanded the best army in Europe. Swiftly knocking Denmark out of the coalition, he crushed the Muscovite army at Navarra on the Gulf of Finland 1700 and chased Frederick Augustus's Polish-Saxon forces south through Poland. The years after Navarra were a struggle for Russian survival, as internal tensions rose under the pressure of war and social change. Uprisings occurred in Astrakhan and on the Don, and it seemed likely that Peter had lost a major battle. He would soon face a catastrophic revolt. Peter desperately shored up on the Saxon resistance to Charles, introduced internal changes to strengthen his own military capacity, and developed his army a new Baltic navy, and gradually advanced against Swedish forces left in Livonia while Charles pursued the Saxons. The fortress of Saints Peter and Paul was founded in 1703 on the land near the Gulf of Finland taken from the Swedes. The fortress formed the nucleus of St. Petersburg, built, contrary to legend, not on empty marshes, but near a small town attached to the captured Swedish fortress of Nykensand. The Tsar began to completely call his new city Paradise. Despite Peter's far-reaching mobilization of Muscovite resources, his forces could not face the superb Swedish army at this time, or even on terms. The Tsar, therefore, turned the vast land itself into a weapon against the invader, withdrawing before him and using scorched earth tactics, attacking his supply routes and cutting off his allies. When the final confrontation came at Poltavata in Ukraine in the summer of 1709, the Russian army hugely outnumbered the Swedish forces in men and artillery. The Swedes, weakened by a bitter winter with inadequate supplies, were under-equipped, and Charles himself immobilized by a wound in the foot. The Swedish army was annihilated. However, Charles escaped to Turkish territory. A consequent Russian expedition against the Ottomans in 1711 led to a near catastrophe for Peter on the river Prut and the loss of the Azov at the subsequent Treaty of Adrianople in 1713. But the rout of the Swedes destroyed their army and permanently broke Swedish power. Peter, satisfied with his territorial gains after 1717, dominant not only in Livonia but in Poland too, soon wished to make peace, but only in 1721, finally compelled an agreement at the negotiating table. And by then, Russia had replaced Sweden as the dominant naval as well as military power of the region. The Treaty of Nyberstadt gave Peter not only St. Petersburg, at the time named Peterborough, but all of Livonia, Livinen, and Estland, with their great port cities of Riga and Tallinn. The Baltic was open to Russian commerce and colonization, and the Baltic Germanic nobilities of Livonia hence provided noble servitors for both imperial army and civilian administration. At his death 4 years later, Peter left a standing army of some 200,000 men, acknowledged as the formidable best European standards. In 1725, the new navy counted 27,000 men, 34 ships of the line, and 40 smaller ships, and several hundred galleys, a force which seriously alarmed the mighty British naval establishment, though after Peter's death it soon fell into decay. Peter's successes in the Great Northern War thrust Muscovy progressively into prominence as a new power in Europe. Moreover, the wide-ranging and internal changes which he introduced confronted the Muscovite elites with new ways of thinking and behaving. This process was symbolized by the creation and capture of the Swedish-English city Peterborough, later renamed St. Petersburg, a completely new city, built in European styles, and would soon become the new capital and redefinition of Muscovy as the Russian Empire in 1721. After the Treaty of Nystadt had confirmed Russia's victory, the new Senate declared Peter the Great Fatherland of the Fatherland and Emperor of all Russias. The next 2 centuries of Russian history to 1917 are conveniently known as the Imperial or St. Petersburg period.